to me, Mandy, because Arial Arise are in 6th place. They have not had a good stage. In fact, Arial Arise have probably been the biggest disappointment in OCE in Stage 2. And I don't say that lightly. I say that because they were the insane upset gunners, dark horse of Stage 1. And they just have not had the impact that we were hoping for in Stage 2. But there is no time like the present. And as you said, they spoiled Wildcard in Stage 1. Let's see if they can spoil in Stage 2. Meow.
What?
Log said Dev meow for me in the chat, and so I meowed for him.
Oh, okay. I wasn't reading the chat carefully enough. That really caught me off guard. Okay, everyone at home that was watching, it's probably like, Mandy. But listen, okay, I was not paying attention at all. I was just looking at Dev while I was talking and nodding and being like, yep,
I was being all serious, and then I have a look and I see it says
I
meow
see my
for me.
co-caster lean into the screen and go, meow.
Oh, look
Right.
at that. Log, you got the double, the 2-for-1. We got a Mandy meow in there as well.
Okay, well, I didn't do it as dramatic as you did. That really freaked me out there. I was like, what is going on? You know, that is weird. That is not cool. I swear, every week you become more sus.
Thanks.
Rob
Well,
was saying that in the other game as well. Okay, it's not on stream though, so we can't be talking about this. Anyway.
you were saying earlier that you really like cats, and so maybe I'm just trying to get you to like me more.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
No, you got me there. Anyway, the game started. The game was started, and the ban place has flown by us while we're talking about
This is your job, Mandy. You're the color caster. Tell me, why have they banned out these operators?
This is my job. Why have they done this? Cade's banned out. Interesting. Triple R, do not start on the defense. It's on the attack. Interesting. I think they just don't want to play that mini game through the mid round, right? Like, rather than actually having to try and get these hatches open, they want to bring more operators that are more execute focused, right? Because they don't have to bring Thatcher, because they don't have to bring like little EMPs or whatever. They can afford to bring along stuff like Capital, stuff like Grim, and all of your zoning operators that are going to enable an easier late round, right? It's going to be able to dislodge some of the power positions, especially on this basement bomb site where there are so many good spots.
But that Solus has snuck in, and Physics, who we haven't really spoken about yet, Mandy, the sub-in for Japer, who's of course on that Circular Spheres roster in Stage 1. He will be playing this counter-information operator, the Solus, the oh so powerful. Now we haven't yet seen him play this stage. Let's hope the rust hasn't settled in.
Yeah, on board we were with Jakenna for just a little bit, who in the last interview that we did with him did have a few words to say about how he's been trying to find his footing a little bit in Stage 2. Of course, they have had a little bit of trouble merging the two philosophies of the game between him and Juicy, of course, but I hope that is paid off by now. And of course, on the roam, he is with that 1.5x in hand, is going to be enabled by Physics. He's going to call out exactly what the attack are doing. And it seems like for now, on the side of Triple R, they are going to take this one slow and steady.
Perhaps too slow, I wonder. Arial Arise, they love this aggressive roaming play style, but at the moment I think they're wondering maybe we don't even have to play hyper aggro. We haven't seen many drones in the early rounds. Now Pinku has got top floor dominance, which means he can lock out that freezer stairs rotation, and with that, all of Arial Arise retreats back to the bomb site.
Not too bad, I think, for Arial Arise. Even though they didn't get fragging value out of that roam, they did do a little bit of a time sink. Not just that, but they also did a bit of a utility sink as well. Nate had to use some of those Bs to actually flush out the position inside of Zulu. And instead, it's going to afford Triple R a little bit of time to work this mid-round. Like now we've been saying the Cade ban is actually going to come to play for them. They can get these hatches open for free, and they can plan out their execute a little quicker.
Attackers recovered
Now Nate's also got hard breach charges here, so funny, bringing two kind of strange flex operators, the Grim and the Capital, but both of them also doubling as hard breaches is nice and handy. That Gon 6 is caught by the magnet from Wamai, so the... Oh, hello! Oh. Pushing up the rear stairs, Goof takes down Suhan. No more Capital, and all that utility is sunk.
Interesting. I do wonder why Nate is hesitating to get this hatch open. He's had the hard breach charge out open a few times now, but is only just going to put it on now. With 30 seconds left to go, it doesn't look like Triple R are that poised for an execute, although Nate is going to drop straight down.
That will be why he was waiting. He was waiting for the opportune moment, but Physics has found a double, and Juicy has made it a 5v1. Poor Eddie left all in his lonesome, and a flawless round. The 3K from the sub. What a way to kick it off for Arial Arise.
Oh yeah, nice one there for Arial Arise. I think they just lent into the late round there. They didn't want to overcommit to the roam because the basement bomb site is pretty strong. There's some
Sorry. Japer ain't doing that. Get my boy Physics back in 3K
man.
straight away.
Yeah, they are absolutely hyping up their super sub at the moment. Of Physics, who, yeah, has just done a phenomenal job there. It was a backside take in the end for RRR, but they just took so long to do it, and it didn't seem that aided by all the utility that they ended up bringing. I was curious as to what their idea was, but it didn't really seem like they actually got to use it. And I think with Arial Arise playing the safe game, falling off early on their roam, that's kind of all you need to win out the basement.
Basement's always the hard one to crack, but these top floor bomb site, the dorms and kitchen dining, kitchen meeting, these ones tend to be a lot more in favor of the attackers. And so if there's any way you can afford to lose on the attacking side on Oregon, it's basement, especially because, as we love to say, Mandy, what is your prize for winning an attack on a laundry basement? You have to attack it again.
That's the one.
So RRR probably won't be too peeved about that loss. They'll move on to dorms now.
Yeah, not too bad, I think, from them, like you're saying. And yeah, I think RRR just need to be a little bit more proactive, I think, on their attack. That one, they looked pretty timid. And yeah, I think this one will spell a little better for them at the moment. Just going in for this master side attack, it seems like they are going to bring along that range hard breach on Suhan, who is the only hard breach actually on the board for the attack, which is a curious one to me. It does mean that it's unlikely that they're going to go and rotate over to Attic and then do like an Attic master type push. I do anticipate that maybe they're going to put a little bit more pressure over on that double window. Now, Suhan has just spotted a player rotating in and out of Closet, but they can't quite reinforce up that hole because he's holding on to that angle as well.
Is it just me, or do you feel like there's been some role changes on RRR? Eddie is now on an entry operator, nade operator, the knock, and Suhan, who's typically one of RRR's key fraggers, is the main hard breacher.
Interesting. I would say yes and no. I think we have seen Suhan in this stage pick up a little bit more of that like necessary hard breach. But Eddie, I think, is the most curious one to me. It's not every day that you see him like not on the ace or not on something supportive, and he's actually gone onto the nook instead.
Oh no, Juicy, man. That's the kind of mistake that you expect from a more amateur player, but not from J Money himself. He had made decent progress. He denied one hard breach charge. Now Eddie is watching this flank. He's got a spidey sense here. Goofed is down below. Elsewhere, a player runs outside. Goofed seems to have gotten away safely. Oh no! The timing could not have been worse. He gets turned on, and Eddie takes him down. The numbers are squarely in RRR's favor as they look to execute.
Oh man, Eddie probably had the shock of his life, man. And he turns around and he's like, oh, there's someone on me. And here goes Logic up the white stairs. He's found some room into the bomb site.
Big first pick, big second one for Big Log, and a flawless round right after Arial did the same to them.
It's pretty good. That is pretty good if you are RRR. Yeah, I liked the push that they did there, actually. Like, yes, they put on the pressure in Master, tried to break down that a little bit, but they didn't overcommit to that position and instead just tried to find success elsewhere on the map. It did seem like after some time, they actually did end up making good work of the small tower side of the map. There wasn't much of a presence going on inside of security, and that gave the Logic the free push up the white stairs that he needed to then secure that entry onto the bomb site. So I think pretty well identified there from RRR to actually take the path of least resistance. All they needed was for Eddie just to dislodge the two roamers that were on the ground floor. I think that by throwing up those grenades and like trying to enter in from garage and stuff, he did draw the attention over to him, which let the rest of the attackers into the bomb site.
I feel like playing as Arial Arise, it's a fair game plan to have when you just look to try and get an early numbers advantage, look for that opening pick, and then just see where it takes you. Because Arial Arise, they do tend to have itchy feet as a team. It's one of their blessings and also their curses of this roster. It's what made them so good in stage one. They're all over the place. They go for gunfights. They go for these flanks. But if you can punish them early in the game, it's very challenging for them to get themselves back into it, right? Juicy over peaks. Like you said, Eddie found the frag onto the roamer, and it's a pretty easy shutout from there.
Yeah, and I think for Arial Arise, like, are just going to look to repeat the same bomb site and actually be a little bit more careful, I think, in keeping tabs on the attack. Last time, they overcommitted, I would say, a little bit to trying to deal with Eddie on the Nook, and as a result, kind of just gave up small tower pretty quick. But this time, there does actually look like there is a presence inside of that ground floor, inside of Zulu. It is good to be the first point of contest. Now, here's the Azami on that roam, and even though there is the white stairs cutoff, which is what Log is playing at the moment, the Azami will be safe from it, right? They can rotate out with those keeper barricades. Not just that, but Guft has actually made his way all the way inside a kitchen, so they really don't want to give that vertical control over to RRR so freely.
Still a lot of roam game, as you were saying, really relying on this ground floor pressure. This log seems to be the tip of the spear. He's got a cheeky little peeky. Does he have information? Could quickly shoot a bullet into the window and take down Juicy if the time is right. But it seems instead like he's going to go for a nade. Are there any jammers or any util here? No. He was looking for a player playing that position, but nobody was there. A bit of a pre-fire, but it feels like RRR really haven't had many dividends paid for the effort they put in thus far.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they've got okay map control at the moment. You know, like, yes, there is a presence going on the ground floor, but they are slowly chipping away at it. Guft is going to keep holding on to it with that Azami that he's brought along, and it's actually burnt out both the grenades from Logic. So I think in terms of utility, it's a little bit more in the hands of the defense at the moment. They haven't got a lot of tools left to enable themselves to get in at towards that bomb site, and it does look like it's going to be that that double window execute. You know, to me, if I'm Arial Arise, I will have had a good read on this. They have done this exact same attack just round prior, and surely they're more ready for it now.
I do feel like RRR needs the opening frag to make this one work. Nate moving up the stairs. Juicy needs to land the shot, but he's taken off guard. A great headshot in close range from Nate, and that is the opening that RRR have been looking for. Log is watching for the flank. Goof, you got to win the fight. Now a two-player advantage for RRR. It seems inevitable that they will take the round.
Yeah, I think Arial Arise, they definitely had the read on the play that RRR were trying to go for, but not the fragging to support it. That being said, though, Jackenna is going to claw back that one onto Nate. And with 30 seconds left to go, Eddie's going to make this rotate all the way onto the other side of the map to try and go in for the backstab.
Cam disabled, but hyper-aware is Physics, and he wins the fight. The numbers, once again, even two. He's got to go in. He finds the first one. Good game sense, or more. A second may be. Physics is down. It is all up to player, the star for Arial Arise. One kill, but not to be the second. Tui is pumped after that one. And Arial are putting the dirt for a second round in a row on Dorms.
Good job there from RRR. I honestly, I wouldn't put it down to much other than the entries just going the right way. Like, to be honest, they just isolated 2 1 versus 1s. That went their way, and I think that was about all they needed. You pointed it out super early in the mid-round, saying all that RRR need here is an opening, and you summon it exactly, right? Like, 2 of them instantly enable this double window push to happen. Tuhan as well, in a great position, just wins out his frags, and I don't think there was much more to it, to be honest. I really wouldn't overthink it too much for Arial Arise. They had the right read on the execute that was going through, but they didn't meet it with the resistance in the gunfights.
Yeah, RRR do really play quite a simple siege, but they also play a very patient game as well. They're not afraid of just waiting. They have a very simple idea. Let's take a little bit of map control, make sure there's no one in kitchen, bottom white stairs, move up white stairs. We'll probably find a pick by that point in the round.
Yeah.
And then convert it from there with big window pressure and white stairs. It doesn't have to be Galaxy Brain. And that's all good and well for Dorms, Mandy, but this basement bomb site is a complete different ball game. And RRR, to win this, they're going to have to show a lot more than what they did in the first round.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Last time they tried to bring along that combination of zoning operators to enable the execute, but this time they've brought along something very different. They've got both the Brava and the Twitch drones, your special drone squadron, going out to cut down the defense from the outside going in. Really nice pick as well from Tuhan to open up the round. I have no idea where Jackenna was. Just at the door of garage. Jeez, yeah, spawn peeking warden. You couldn't have put it any better way. Of course, main character energy, but doesn't pay off.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, that's just not the right read against RRR right now. I know Arial Arise, they love to play that aggressive playstyle. Jackenna's trying to fire up after a bit of a slow stage. But this is exactly what RRR want. They want to be given these early engagements. The way you got to play this for Arial is to shoot drones and fall back, but hang on a second. The drone game is perfect for Log, but he gets baited in. And Goofed can find that kill, bringing numbers back even again as he and Physics look to retreat back to site.
It's good from Physics as well. Like, he was holding onto the top white stairs and he actually had the solar scanner out and realized that he had been misdroned in his position too. So if he wanted to wait out for the entry of Pinku to come through, he could have, but he actually decides to fall off with his teammates instead. Of course, this bomb site is quite strong in terms of its power positions, but now it makes me curious, how much work have Eddie and Tuhan done? Because if they've actually managed to clear out all the utility on this backside, a bunker push could be on the cards.
Already in, and it does seem to be some form of a rush. Juicy was not able to find the first player on the cross. And the kills are coming through, though. But RRR, they're not done yet. They've retained the numbers. As Physics took one down. The trade has made this awful for him. A bit of an awkward position now. Doesn't know where to watch. Juicy's falling back to support his teammate. As there's definitely a player here in Garage. The nade doesn't land, but it has afforded so much space here to Triple R, and there's so much time left to work with. Eddie now looking to hold on as Physics knows exactly where he is. Does a bit of damage, no kill yet. This is such a mess, Mandy. What's going on? Triple R, you have to consolidate this. You have to win it. But Physics, the super sub, is firing up once again. Good luck, Pinku, 1v2.
Tough spot now for Pinku. They do know exactly where he is, and it is just inside of Freezer. He's only got one door that he can enter in from, but he has managed to make his way through. On the other side, though, both of the Arial Arise players playing in off angles, but somehow he spots the player on the backstairs. Really quick refrag there from Juicy to be able to go for that pick and clean it up.
Wow, perfectly played in the 2v4, 2v5?
2v5, I think. Oh, no, 2v4, sorry.
Because Log died
2v4.
early, so 2v4. From Arial Arise, Juicy and Physics together.
He does make the money moves.
He does make the money
As we
moves.
say.
You got the J money. You got when you got Physics on your side. I mean, what else is there? Chemistry, mathematics. That was a really bad attempt at a science joke. I like the pity laugh from you. I appreciate it.
That was a good try. I'm sure we'll come up with some physics jokes in this series, but yeah.
I have a super random reference. Did you ever watch Doctor Who? And there's an episode where the Doctor's like, physics, 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 physics. No? Great moment. Great moment. The 3 people watching the stream that watched that episode of Doctor Who are really laughing right now.
All right, that's good. I'm glad that you've hit your target audience. Okay, so, well, it's all fine and dandy to win out on your basement bomb site. Although, that being said, that round really could have gone either way. I think that, you know, the combination of the special drones did actually make a good way for them to actually do a back take. But all it needs is some good money moves from Juicy and from Physics to actually hold on to that one. So, really close one. But what really matters for the defense is actually landing something on one of these other bomb sites. If you can only win out on basement, you're going to go down to a 4-2 half. And that's not too good on Oregon.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Especially when you're relying on winning 2vx's. That's simply not going to work consistently. The Triple R are going and attacking Dorms for the 3rd time, by the way. Arial Arise not looking to try meeting or dining. They're once again banging their head against the wall of Dorms. And Triple R have been so good at slowly picking away at this defense, finding their kill, finding their opening and converting it.
This is a really, like, odd strat for Arial Arise. Like, if you look at the bomb site, the site looks, like, oddly empty, you know? There's no, like, shields, there's no Uzami, there's no nothing. And because there is no nothing, Pinku's just repelled inside of Armory, and it's going to take down the player inside of Trophy, who's fortified by absolutely no bits of utility there. And he's also going to claim the second onto player, who's stuck inside a pit and can't rotate back because the wall is open. Just really strange things for Arial Arise, like really, really strange.
And they're read like a book. For the 3rd time in a row now, Triple R have a 5 versus 3 with over half the round left. You know exactly what they're going to do right now. Just wait. Arial Arise are going to make mistakes like that one. And when you've got so much time, when you have such an advantage, you don't have to get crazy. You just consolidate. You just hold on.
Minute 30 seconds as well, so 90 seconds of time left in here for the attack to make something happen. Juicy over on the small tower side of the map was going to try and take that 1 versus 1 onto Eddie, but Eddie's like, nah, I'm not having any of it. I'm just going to make sure that you can't see for the planter.
Physics, funnily enough, was actually caught in that EMP radius. He can't use his gadget, not that he would right now. Juicy's getting aggressive, but he does go down. Physics once again has to clutch up, but he is eliminated. And another convincing Dorms attack from Triple R gives them the lead.
Yeah, convincing I think is the right word for that. I think odd is the word I would use for Arial Arise. It just, looking at that setup that they had going, it was very hard to dissect exactly what the plan was for them. It's not like they actually brought anything that was like valuable resistance, I think, to what Triple R were trying to do. Maybe they were just trying to lean into like the whole like intel denial game with like the mute Mozzie combo and the Solace. But even then, they just didn't seem to have a read on what Triple R were doing at all. They just got their free entries over in the master side of the building, identifying that there was no resistance there whatsoever, and just walk in on the bomb site.
About damn time we see meeting, if you ask me. Arial Arise, 3 failed attempts on Dorms. If you can't win Dorms, you can't win Oregon, as a very clueless man, Jake Sanox Venditti, once said.
Oh dear, that is a funny one. But yeah, like you've pointed out, they are going to finally change it up and actually go into meeting for their final defending attempt here on Oregon. They've brought along some, I would say, a more readable plan. I think they've brought along the Izami and both of the projectile catching operators of your Wamai and your Jaeger as well. So whatever setup they want to do here, whether it's on the back stairs or inside of meeting itself, it will take a little bit of utility and a little bit of planning for RRR to clear.
Well, this is not a bad read from player. You can see 3 players spawned at that construction spawn, and it's very common to send one lurker out through blue first. It seems like RRR will not do that. But RRR have proven to be such an adaptable attacking lineup, right? They're just so chill. They spend the first minute of the round just casually approaching the building, thoroughly checking all their angles. The only spawn peak we've seen so far was when Jakenna got absolutely shut down in round 4 from Tuhan. And already, great progress made by RRR as they've ascertained full west side of the map control here.
I do like this idea from Logic as well to bring the Brava on the lurk. Now, often you wouldn't have the Brava on the lurk because you need that Brava to enable your entries. You know, you want to be taking down those dread mines that are active so they can walk in, or you want to be taking down like your Wamais or your ADSs to make sure that the utility can go through and stuff like that. But Logic, instead actually choosing to bring it on the small tower lurk, has actually taken down 2 of those Fenrir gadgets sneaky beaky-like, and can use that later to actually go and backstab in that defense. So I think, you know, good read from him. But the tough part now for the attack is then cracking down on the rest of the defense, right? There are, of course, those keeper barricades that are going to enable these anchors to feel safe inside the bomb site.
Well, it seems like there's no defense contesting Big Tower, so free real estate for RRR. They've breached open the wall into Attic. And they've got these beautiful angles onto site as well. Nate is so close to finding a frag here, but he is droned ahead now. Zafir keenly holding this M762 as he starts to march forward. He knows there's a player in dorms. Does he need to hunt this, though?
Not really. Not exactly mission critical to the push that they're going to do, but it seems like Nate's going to go for it anyway. No, he's just going to use that Zofia concuss to reposition in and off angle, prone right in the corner. No defender's going to be expecting that.
And Log, believe it or not, with the cameras, the DMR is going to find the opening kill onto Goofed on his lurk and still getting value out of these clutch drones. But Pinku is struggling with this Fenrir gadget, the FNAT just above his doorway. He needs Logic to try and clear that out somehow, but it might not be possible. Meanwhile, pressure on the site continues to mount. The hatch is open. Nate is still holding this flank, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Arial Arise will have a flanker eventually. But first, Pinku will make his move.
Tough one now. They have realized that Kitchen is not that held by the defense. They are going to try and poke their way into it, but still with 24 seconds left, they need to posture better for an execute.
And Nate makes the first move, which proves to be to his undoing. Meanwhile, Juicy has managed to sprint all the way up, and he could go for a flank here. The RRR, are they aware of this? Do they have the time to deal with it? But no, Juicy gets another kill on this flank. It's all fallen to pieces. Log, though, stands up once again. Trading coming through from player. And Tuhan must clutch in the 1v2 up and off the plan, but immediately flagged back by Jakenna. A chaotic end to the round, but Arial Arise steal away an even half.
Really good work there for Arial to actually keep tabs on all the options that the attack had going there for them. I think once they realized that that Kitchen player had been taken down from the lurk of Logic, they thought, oh, they could totally change their push right now. Like, it looked like they were posturing for that meeting execute for the entire round, right? They were setting up themselves, opening up the wall, getting at it control. It looked like at any moment they could execute there onto stage, get the plant down. But as soon as that player died inside of meeting, he must have called out, like, guys, meeting's free, kitchen's free right now. Just be careful. They could come in and do that instead. And it actually looked like Arial Arise were ready for that eventuality. They didn't overcommit to one or the other bomb site. And I think Juicy going for his retake up the top floor as well, noticing that, okay, there can only be one player up there, so I should just take that 1 versus 1, play my cards, you know, take my luck. It was really what they needed to make sure that they kept track of all the attackers.
I hate to be that guy for RRR, but if Nate had just stayed prone in pit, watching for that flank, I think RRR win that round, right? Juicy was about to sprint right into him when Nate got up and started making the first move, and he's also Zafir. Like, that's a very slow and loud operator. A lot of what-if moments for RRR. But Arial Arise can be pretty happy with that half, right? Doesn't matter if you can't win dorms. If you win your 2 basements and 1 offsite, a 3-3 half is more than acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair enough certainly on the attack, especially I think with the ban lineup that's gone out at the moment. I think it could be a little challenging to clear the map with your lack of EMPs on the Dokkaebi, your lack of calling, especially against a team like Arial Arise, where they are quite proficient on that roam, and it can be quite hard to clear them out. I think they've done a good job so far in their half.
Well, what's Juicy cooking up here? We've also got a shotgun on player with the Amaru. Juicy's going to start to move in. A few bullets come his way through the meeting wall. This is a heavy roam. Player zips in upstairs. The Monty should be telegraphed here. I'm fairly certain RRR are aware.
Very focused attack here. Just looks like some classic big tower take. Look to clear out inside of meeting, but the problem with doing that is that they are facing immediate resistance of Tuhan on the other side. That hatch is in fact open, it's not reinforced. Tuhan's going to hold on to this for as long as he can, but he has a very safe fall-off route.
What an angle though, and here comes J Money on the big Monty. He's being droned, he's being Monty'd, the pings will be coming out. He knows it's not safe to contest that angle. There was actually a drone at the sandbags watching him the whole time, but he falls back to safety. Meanwhile, Pinku starts to second guess his position, but can he bait the player, his teammate? Nate looks like he's gonna hide, hoping that the Monty will walk right past.
Bit linear, I think, this push from Arial Arise. Like, yes, they have gotten control inside of meeting, but because there are no cutoff players going in from small tower, they don't even have lobby presence. Ooh. All of the defenders feel kind of safe on this side of the map. They can still hold on to security, still hold on to kitchen, and even lobby, and they're completely uncontested. So I think for Arial Arise, if they want to make this push work, they have to get massive value out of this backtake.
The upside, though, of going for a one-sided push for Arial is that if they can erupt onto the bomb site at once, then it could trap RRR off guard and trap these roamers way off site. Jackenna now has meeting control, and it doesn't say, wait, hang on a second. Logic is all the way up in kids' dorms.
Yep.
He's got a massive flank opportunity, and he will drop into kitchen. There's a minute left, and Arial Arise are yet to have their first pick. Eddie has burned all of his gas, keeping the Monty at bay.
Scary times, I think, at the moment for the attack. It does look like they are posturing in for this backtake. It's going to be spearheaded by that Monty, but like you pointed out, Eddie using all of his smoke canisters is going to mean that the only denial that they have going for them are the Goyo canisters of Pinku, right? And with 30 seconds left to go, that might be all they need.
Do they know? If Arial Arise don't know that Eddie is under the stairs, then it could be round over. Eddie gets flashed for a brief moment, but he has survived. Nate opens the equation. Player's gone down. The Monty is at large, and he does take down Eddie under the stairs. Arial Arise just barely have a numbers advantage, but for how much longer the Monty will continue to harass? Nate's gone down. Tuhan will reply, but immediately everything is down to him and Logic. Tuhan finds them both. A bit of a touch and go round, but one that RRR will be happy to take home.
Interesting rounds, I think, from Arial Arise. Not a bad idea, I think, to try and use that Monty to brute force your way down into the bomb site. Of course, the hardest part about attacking that basement bomb site is translating the push from the ground floor to the basement, because there are not that many viable ways to get in, right? You either have to drop the hatch, walk down the back stairs, or go in through bunker, or go in through the front side, but they didn't do that anyway, right? So for a back take, having the Monty there is not a bad idea, because it means you can at least get a player from the ground floor into the basement. But if your team isn't ready to follow up, and if you've given so much space for the anchors on the defense to work with, they can just run around, hold those crossfires. I think it was just a little bit too easy for RRR to win that round.
It felt dicey though, I'm going to admit it. It came down to a 2v2.
It felt it, but not really, right?
The macro level, you're thinking from a big picture perspective, Mandy.
It did look kind of easy. Like, in the end, that they had, like, 2 plays alive. They just, like, won out on time, you know? Yeah, it looked a bit too safe, I think, is what worried me.
I'm not too stressed about Laundry being a defense win, because that is
that is true.
godforsaken certain site on this map to win for defense. My question is, what about these other sites, right? So, essentially on Oregon, assuming you're all right at your basement, you should have 2 defense rounds for free. What about on these secondary and tertiary sites?
That is a good question, and one that RRR are going to answer for us now. So here they go, into the kids' dorms bomb site. Does look like they are doing a little bit of an extension over in small tower. They don't want to afford the attack that free space. They want to hold on to it for as long as they can. Not just that, but the extension over in big tower as well. It is Eddie all on his lonesome. I don't think he can quite fall off from this position now that that window's been open as well, so he's going to play here to die. And with Logic getting the first pick externally outside of small tower, it's a good start here for the defense.
Yeah, great pick, especially since it is the hard breacher. Log's going for another one. Jakenna takes a bit of damage, but the pressure, the damage is done. Eddie feels a bit of pressure from down below. I believe that's the buck of physics as he whips out that skeleton key once again. But Tuhan takes down player who, by the way, is having an uncharacteristically quiet game. And we have a 5v3 already a minute into the round for Triple R.
Not looking so good for Arial Arise. Unfortunately, they play into the defense of Triple R, trying to clear out that big tower position. Didn't quite work out for them. They didn't manage to sink the 2 grenades of Jakenna onto Eddie, and he stays alive. So instead, they're going to pivot and try something else.
Oh, Log. He's got the info he needs, and so we will back off. Triple R are just so good at identifying when to take risks and when to cut their losses and pull back, or cut their wins in this case, right? You got 2 players, that's a massive winnings. No need to take unnecessary ones.
On board we are now with Goof, diffuser in hand as well, as he tries to get control up on side of the armory stairs and make his way inside of Trophy. But all that Triple R need to do here is sit tight and hold the crossfires. There's not a lot of time left for Arial Arise, and with the man disadvantage that they have going into this flood, it could be a tricky one.
Damn, Jakenna, if he had found that kill, it could have opened up the round. That would have been massive control, but Eddie overpeaks and loses his head to Goofed. Low HP now on the Zephyr, and there's still a stalwart defense for Triple R on the site. Goofed is scared that someone may peek him, and I don't think that Arial Arise quite know that there is a player just on the other side of this doorway, standing on top of the cabinet. Now they do know, but they have to walk into the Fenrir's gadget, and they will be afeared to do so. This is an impossible task. I'm just going to say it. What do you do, Arial? Triple R have been so good and yet so patient. No need to overpeak, but Tuhan's going to do it anyway. The 2K to close, and it's quite a simple slew of rounds on the defense. 2 in a row now for Triple R.
Yeah, Triple R playing a really good Oregon here, just playing the discipline game. Even though they have the numbers advantage just slightly, they all fall back to the safety of the bomb site. They keep the map control that they've been gifted to them for the attack. Unfortunately here for this big tower push for Arial Arise, they had the grenades, they had the right idea, you know, use the buck, use the grenades to then sink out and flush out that player. But Eddie held pretty strong, right? Not only was he really weaseling his way around all of that pressure that came out from the attack, but he also had the support of his teammates too, right? To a macro picture of the game. I do feel like Triple R are edging out ahead.
So funnily enough, we went from a technical pause to now a tactical pause. So perfect timing, of course, for Arial Arise. As we have said, we were trying not to spell doom and gloom, but let's reality check here. Arial Arise are 2 rounds away from getting 0 points from this game. And in 1 more round's time, Triple R will have the ability to go back down to the basement, which is so far undefeated for defense this game and has an 80+ win percentage on the defense in Oceania. You do not want to be going into that on match point. They need this tertiary bomb site win to have a chance of pushing Triple R further in this game.
Round by round, though, I think if you're Arial Arise, you've taken a tactical timeout now, and I think it's just to consolidate the players, get everyone back on the same page, because I think, you know, a big thing against this Triple R roster is that you don't want to be running off undoing excursions on your own. I think if you're playing as a team, you will find more success, especially on these tertiary bomb sites, right? They want to be, make sure that they have that communication flowing between them so that any option that they can get open on, especially this bomb site, they can take.
Yeah, you're right, it is 1 round at a time. Sometimes I get a little bit lost in the sauce, but I'm just excited.
Yeah.
And it's a real skill not to. When you're playing this game, Duhan's having a bit of fun with it.
Duhan's like, let me in!
I'll tell you who's not lost in the sauce right now. Triple R, this just looks like another day in the office, which is ironic because they don't even get paid because there's no org. Which is not meant to be a burn, it's meant to be a reality check of Arial Arise is a literal org, right? They picked up the Circular Spheres roster. These guys, I mean, I don't know what's in their contract, I don't know what benefits they get, but Triple R, they got dropped by Wildcard, and they decided, look, let's double down. I don't care if we're not getting paid, we will grind until we make the major, until we get an org. Imagine Rapid Response Regiment representing Oceania over in Atlanta. It's hard to fathom, but it's looking more and more likely by the day.
Sometimes the best performances come from compassion and just sheer will to win, not from the paycheck. So I think that, yeah, Triple R really embodying that at the moment. Here's Arial Arise on their attempt at the roam clear. Jakenna's made his way inside of Master,
Eddie.
but really nice shots there from Eddie through the vertical to take down Guft. Is going to be a tough start for Arial Arise.
Yeah, what a shot there already. Goofed has gone down. Physics, ironically, the top fragger for Arial Arise, and he's the goddamn sub. And here he is on the Twitch on double window. Of course, the bomb site is down below in kitchen. Pinku is still maintaining this top floor presence. It looks like players starting to maintain some kind of presence over in dining. But here comes the entry. That's exactly what Arial have been looking for. Jackenna, could he be good for a second one here? The flank comes through, and Tuhan continues to tear up for RRR. Another kill to his name. Player is the last man standing, but he is a shadow of the form that we've seen in his previous matches this stage, and he has a hell of a massive mountain to climb. 3 players, no diffuser, and match point lying on the other side of this round for RRR.
Yeah, and I think once again here for Arial Arise, sort of just playing in the hands of the RRR setup. That was quite a fortress there inside of that top floor, and they just executed straight on into it. All said and done, they did get 2 kills out of it, but leaving player all alone in the 1 versus 3 does mean that they have really severely lost out early game. And there we go, Tuhan is going to get that refrag onto player and close out what was honestly a very dominant round.
It really was. And you even see in the face cams at the end of that one, Logic just having a laugh. I mean, he gets greedy, he pushes, he dies, and what is his reaction? Just a bit of laughter. On the flip side, there's palpable frustration for Arial Arise. This team, RRR, back in stage 1, they were wildcard, they were rolled out, they were the top shit, and Arial Arise slapped them down. And now, quite the inverse is happening. Arial, it feels like you flip a coin and you have no idea what Arial is going to show up. Is it the one that's been stealing points and taking wins over Kelton's Knights on this very map, mind you, or the ones that get 7-1 by Bliss, the one that's losing to Mammoth, the one that is currently 3 rounds trailing behind a match point RRR.
Tough stage for Arial Arise. It's been really up and down, I think, for these guys. They had a lot of promise going into the beginning of the stage, but I think as it went on, a couple growing pains, I think, between the roster has meant that it has been a tough closing couple games for these guys. But RRR, I think, is the team that we should be getting excited about here. They are finally on match point, taking the 3 points that they wanted out of this game. They have secured themselves 1, of course, by landing at that 6th round, but what they really want is that regulation win. Like you've been saying, it is going to make next week so much easier for them. They only need 6 rounds to send themselves to the major.
Yeah, I mean, if Arial Arise do push overtime here, it does make things a little bit more interesting for that Bliss game next week. Of course, it doesn't spell death for RRR by any means, but I just don't think it's going to be possible. Arial Arise are going to have to throw everything they've got at it, and that means player needs to wake up. It means Jackenna needs to have a return to his stage 1 form. He admitted himself in his interviews that he's a little bit rocked by the new playstyle that Arial Arise have adopted. But player, that's the misnomer for me. This guy, what, he got 20 kills in his opening game? Why is he struggling so much here?
That's a good question, and one that, like, honestly, I can't really answer. I think Arial Arise just look a little bit disconnected, I think, from each other. They don't really seem like a unit, I think, is what I would say. It does feel like there's a lot of, like, small things that go right for them, but holistically, as a team, RRR do look more like 5 players. Arial Arise, though, they are going to make this top floor push work. Player being the spearhead of it, as we were just speaking of him. But Log is in a very, very tucked-in position. Surely they don't know he's here, right? Is
he going to check every single corner? There comes Log, but he gets up prematurely, and he will lose his life. Good entry frag there for player on the blitz, and he didn't take too much damage for it as well. So I'd say that's a pretty good win for Arial Arise, but so many RRR roamers. Arial Arise don't know it right now, but they would probably be best off if they just rushed the site.
Yeah, of course. That's what we can tell them in the top down, but they're not going to know it, are they? And I think Tuhan, inside of Garage, is going to be the one to tell the tale of this round. If they don't know he's there, which surely they're not going to check Garage, right? That is not something that's kind of normal to drone out here, surely, right? Tuhan could do some bad things. Some bad times are going to be headed in the way of Arial Arise very soon.
And have a look at Tuhan's scoreline. 12 kills to 4 deaths in this game so far, rocking a 3.0 KD. He is the man of the hour. And he's now got to decide whether to go for a flank now, when it is, of course, not necessary, or wait until his teammates are feeling a lot of pressure on site. It looks like this may be a drop, but hang on a second. Listen out for the cue. Does he hear there's a player behind him? First kill. Does he know that there's one on a cam? He got off the cam. Where are you going? Tuhan Now ultra aware, but he knows he doesn't have to make the first move. Arial arise. They might just have to go to site. Tui goes down, and it's flipped on its head. Arial now in a massive position, but Nate gets traded. Eddie now, the last one to fall for Triple R. Arial arise have done the impossible. They've won a basement attack. But can they do it twice more to push OT?
Man, that is big. How on earth were they able to achieve that? That entire time, I was like, oh man, they are going to go for this rear stairs execute and they're not going to do it because Tuhan's going to be there and they're going to waste all their time trying to clear him. But in the end, it was actually a double-edged sword going for such an ambitious roam there for Triple R. They had Logic pretty much die completely uncontested, and then that left Tuhan on his own to try and claw back that round. But in the end, leaving so little players on the bomb site, somehow created an opening for J-Money to like land some kind of nut shots, right? So then open up that execute. I honestly have no idea how Arial Arise were able to make that one work for themselves. Absolutely no idea. But somehow, even in divided attention, they're able to close out a basement execute. That is nothing to scoff at.
I think Triple R will be kicking themselves because, let's admit it, they did troll a little bit that round. There's no reason that Log needs to be hiding in some random corner. There's no reason that Tuhan needs to be going for that roam.
Like, the thing is, it's not a bad idea, right? Because you're thinking, like, Arial Rise, oh man, the mental's bad, you know, surely they're not going to be, like, checking all their corners and everything. But,
I agree.
Man, you know, that's good.
Yeah, look, credit to Arial Arise. I think that's more what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Like, Triple R tried to disrespect them, and Arial Arise said, shut up, this isn't over yet. And we're trying to make this a headache for you guys to go to the major. Of course, Arial Arise are also fighting to raise themselves on the standings. As I said, currently in 6th, and there's a hell of a lot of money on the line if they can improve that.
Interesting choice as well for Triple R. They aren't going to repeat the basement bomb site. They went up to kits and dorms instead. Very, very interesting. Maybe they are leaning onto the fact that Arial Arise just do not know how to attack this bomb site. Last time Eddie was in this exact position, he found some pretty good value out of it.
Ooh,
oh, not this time though. That's not bad from Arial Arise. The double window open at the same time. Eddie's like, oh no. He's dead.
I really love that from Arial Arise, and it's actually a really good sign, Mandy. We had, what, I think about 7? I'm not even going to bother counting. About 7 opening picks in a row for Triple R, and now twice in a row for Arial Arise. The opening engagement has determined most of the rounds in this game, and Arial already have it on their side.
Ooh, damn. That's pretty good. That is certainly pretty good if you are on Team Arial Arise at the moment. Now, the next point of contest is going to be this trophy shield. It's pretty heavily fortified. Not only is there a shield there, but the keeper barricades and 3 ADSs. All 3 of the ADSs dedicated to this position. So surely one last nade's going to be sent in to deal with that, but nope, it's going to get sunk up by the keeper barricade instead. So all of this utility being soaked up by Tuhan.
He's done an amazing job. He has lost his shield, though. The player will move in. Jakenna goes down. Oh, unfortunate. Tui's still on that angle. Jakenna a little bit premature. Needed a player to get into support. Needed this breach from Juicy. And now Tui, ooh, he's in an awkward position. That little boost spot might net Juice some aggression. Here comes Tui.
Activated.
He attempts it again. Can't land the shots that he needs. He's got to ice up on one of these headshots one day. Surely, there it is. Physics goes down, but the trade comes through thick and fast, back and forth. Arial once again on the back foot as player falls. Juicy will surely be the last to die. Triple R continue their reign of terror across Oceania, and into the final playday, they remain on top.
And a very clean fashion in the end. 7-4 scoreline on Oregon is something that they can be very proud of going into that final day. It's going to set them up for success, and it is exactly what they were looking for.
So